Hello, friends. Jenny Stone here. I'm going to share with you my results and recap of the 30-day reset that I just finished. Kind of. You're going to hear all about it. So, first, I'm going to show you my Notion tracker that I used to write down my goals and have a way to track my progress. So in here, you can see I used an image that would remind me, chop wood, carry water. This is one of my big goals is learning to get comfortable with consistency. 10 for 10 for 100 days. Let's start with 30, go from there. I was really excited on the first day. I'm like, I could do it for 100 days. Well, we'll start at 30 days and see where we go. My sacrifice that I chose was weed and Netflix on weekday nights. So nights before if there's school and work the next day. And my goals were make food every day, physical therapy, walk outside, and a 10-minute quick pickup every day. So I made this tracker. So you can see here's the dates, AM Sun, writing so there were these 10 things that we were supposed to do or six things you're supposed to do for 10 minutes a day. This was the reset, and it was AM Sun, 10 minutes of AM Sun, 10 minutes of writing, 10 minutes of meditation, 10 minutes of movement, 10 minutes of a practice that you're trying to cultivate. For me, that was channeling, and 10 minutes of PM Sun. So those were the six main things. I added a couple of more plus my sacrifices in here. So you can see I've got my AM Sun, write, meditate, physical therapy, walk is my movement, channel, PM Sun, no weed, no Netflix, made food, and a quick pickup. Um, so I combined my morning walk with the AM sun time. And a lot of times in the PM sun, I would sit and record my video, my channeling for the day. So those were really nice. I already have a pretty solid meditation practice going because of my Sacred Intuition Society. I do it in there. Um, and a pretty good journaling and writing practice. So those weren't super hard for me. As you can see over here, there's ability to write notes and put in my reflections and my meditation time that I wrote or that I did for the day, or not. Slept through meditation because I still feel sick. Um, so that happens sometimes. And so there's like journaling that you can, and this counted as writing as well. So a really fun way to track and see the progress and notice the openings in some of the categories, especially as we get down here to the last week. Around my birthday week, actually, is when I kind of fell off. You can see there's no notes from day 22 to day 30 because I was going through some hard stuff. Let's see what the last note that I wrote in here. Um, okay. Yeah. Feeling a lot like a failure. There was a day in here, the no weed, of course, on the weekends. So I'm like, do I check it? Do I not? And Netflix, on the weekend I'm allowed. I gave myself permission for those. But I realized partway through that I wasn't quite ready to give up some of these things yet for a couple of reasons. It's winter. And winter is really not the seasonal energy time to go and do and something new and exert a lot of energy. It's a time of rest and rejuvenation, of nurturing yourself and healing and getting ready for spring when it is time to take action and start planning and doing things. And I just felt like I had to have one. And so I kind of did one that like other people were doing. So people were giving up nicotine, other people were giving up weed as well. So people were giving up scrolling Instagram or Facebook before, breakfast. There was all sorts of really fun things. We did this in a group of about 30 of us, and we would check in daily. And I found it really helpful to have these check-ins and, reading what other people are going through and how they're judging and criticizing themselves, or how they're giving themselves compassion and forgiveness, or what the excuses or justifications were, and are they valid? And only you get to choose, right? It's your reset, it's your program. And that was one of the biggest lessons that I learned in this reset, was really giving myself permission to do it my way. I think I even recorded a channeling video on that one. It was like, hey, it's okay to do things your way. And there was one brave soul in the reset who was like, I'm not ready to give up anything yet. So I'm skipping that part. And I was just like, what? You can do that? And I don't want to like blame this person for my reason of like, yeah, I think I'm not ready yet either. I'm not gonna give up my things yet either. But I did become much more cognizant and aware of how and or why I was using weed or Netflix at the end of a day. And it's really interesting, these battles back and forth with ourselves, our own inner parts, our own inner critics, and this awareness of I'm done and I'm kind of ready to check out. And that's a really super easy and fun escape to just, have a little gummy and watch a show and just kind of, woo, and then go to bed. And there's a part of me that's like, okay, I don't have a typical 9 to 5 job. I'm an entrepreneur. I choose my hours. I work when and where I want. And and I'm creating what I want, right? I'm not working for somebody else. I'm working in my own, I'm I'm moving my own goals forward, and I'm not judging anybody that isn't. That's not what I'm trying to say. But my time is really mine to do whatever I want with whatever I want. And I am incredibly creative. And I feel like a lot of the like, hey, Netflixing and binging Netflix or TV shows, whatever. Netflix, it's not just Netflix. There's Disney and Apple and Hulu and Paramount. Like there's so many, right? But like just getting in and kind of zoning out. For a lot of people is a time where they could be putting effort and energy into whatever it is that they're wanting to create. I'm creating that all day already. So I kind of feel like I get a pass on that. And also, there's more. Like, I do have a list of things that I would really like to learn how to do. I'd really like to understand astrology better. I would really like to learn more about even things that aren't associated with what I do, but like herbology and different medicine, like natural medicines, apothecary type things. My mom had taught me how to embroider, and I've got a couple of shirts that I want to embroider with some things. There's a list of things that I would like to like learn to do, and I could be doing that. And also sometimes I just like want to rest and chill, especially in the winter. So call it an excuse or a justification, but I wasn't quite ready to give those up yet. And I wasn't, but it did help me evaluate my relationship with it more. And now I'm a little more conscious. And maybe I watch one show and then, hey, let's play a game as a family, or let's go create something together, or let's go for a walk. But at nighttime, it's dark and cold in the winter. So I kind of gave myself a lot of leniency and compassion there. Now, the big pattern that showed up for me towards the end was when I was going through my birthday blues and the meltdown that was coming with that, and this death and rebirth of the old Jenny that's stepping into the new, and all the parts of me that are freaking out and holding on, last ditch effort, throwing their tantrums. No, don't get rid of this. This is all we know, and we have figured out how to manage it. Don't get rid of this. We don't know what to do then. We're throwing their fits. And I was journaling and journaling and journaling. And the practices that really stuck with me, and the big goals that I really had, was the everyday walk outside. That was a big one that I had at the Vipassana in December, because at the Vipassana every day, no matter the weather, I was outside walking because we were sitting in meditation for 11 hours a day. And I just, on our breaks, could not sit anymore. So I walked, and I learned to love walking in the snow and the cold and the dark and whatever it was. I got accustomed to it. And when I came home, I was going to keep walking, but I didn't. And the physical therapy was another big piece for me, because when I do my physical therapy exercises, my hip and knee do a lot better. And the other ones that were kind of important was like the 10-minute pickup and just picking up and keeping stuff orderly. That one really helped me, just like, instead of throwing my dirty clothes on the chair, I'll get to it tomorrow. I was like, okay, put them in the laundry basket or hang them back up. You don't need to throw them on the chair. And so my space became a little bit cleaner and clearer. And the daily walks were really refreshing and energized me. The days that were really bad and snowy, I did allow sun lamp to be my sunlight, because there was no sun, morning or evening. So I'd sit in the sun lamp and read or meditate or journal, and combine some of these things together to help me still get my stuff checked off, but doing it my way, in the way that I can. So those were really big. And then when the pattern that showed up with the birthday blues was this intense desire to disappear when I'm not being perfect. Or even presentable. Perfect is such an old, like, I've really done a lot of work to overcome perfectionism. uh, there's still a lot of control that I'm trying to do to make it appear perfect. This is just deep conditioning, deep conditioning, that, sin equals hell, and sin is imperfection. So you must be perfect. So you must perfect, and it goes deep, but perfect isn't possible. Progress is. And but presentable, right? Like, okay, make it appear presentable. And I was doing really well in the group, showing up every day, checking in, cheering other people on. And then towards the end, the last week specifically, I wanted to disappear. I didn't check in every day online or in my note taker, because there's no notes for the last, what, 8 days? Yeah, 8 days. There's no notes. So I was doing the things mentally, the ones that I could. Energetically, the walks were still really helping. Journaling was massively helpful. Like on my birthday, I wrote like 10 pages, just stream of consciousness, just like getting it all out of me. Ah! And the quick pickup. Those were the big pieces that really stuck with me. On channeling, because the channeling, again, the practice that you chose to commit just 10 minutes a day to was channeling, and that was also combined with 78 slow. So I was doing two challenges, but they really worked together. But I wanted to disappear, and I didn't show up. And then there's this part of me that was just like, okay, you didn't show up for the last week, and online, there's these daily places that you check in online, there's a weekly review, and I didn't show up. And so there was a part of me that's like, well, it's over now, it's done, it doesn't matter. But this morning I was like, no, I need to finish this. So I went in, I checked the boxes that I could remember, or even some of them I could go back and check the dates that I channeled. I could see if I was outside. Some of those brought back memories of, oh yeah, I did meditate, or, whatever. So I did the best I could. So tracking the last 8 days was not very good. But today I went in and finished what I started. I wrote my review, and in that review, it was like, hey, I did finish. I finished my way. I didn't finish perfect. I found quite a few patterns throughout the first 3 weeks, some patterns of sacrifice and justification, excuses, what's real, having compassion, finding my way in the flow. And then the last week was this like, okay, but you don't, just because you didn't finish perfectly or excel, show up in the way that you thought you should, or even that you did the first 3 weeks, doesn't mean you can't finish, doesn't mean it wasn't worthwhile, and doesn't mean that you're a failure. So I finished, and finishing is winning. And it was really interesting. I was listening to this podcast this morning after I had finished and written my final review and checked all the boxes, and just like, I wrapped it all up. I finished a thing. I'm listening to this podcast, and it talks about the importance of finishing. Even if you're done, just like finish the cycle, finish, like just say it's complete. Whatever you do to finish it and close the energetic loop in your mind, in your body, in your auric field, that it is done, and then no more energy is leaking towards it. And then also you start to learn the lessons that are coming from it. And that was probably one of the like, wow, like the universe is, the last week has been really rough. And the universe still, even in my really rough, dark period, the universe showed up for me in so many ways. In fact, this is I want to do this 30-day reset again, but I want to add in making a note. Like, one of my things will be making a note of all the ways the universe showed up for me. Like, um, for my birthday, for example, I typically love to get this special vegan cake from Zest, downtown Salt Lake City. It is made with almond flour and beets, the bases and chocolate, and then the ganache on top is made of avocado and cacao. It's got this raspberry ganache over it and some lime zest, and it's just like my favorite thing in the world. And for most years, I get that for my birthday. This year, I just thought about it. I didn't want to go get it. Well, on my birthday, one of my friends made it for me. Like, they had figured out their own little recipe, and they made me these cupcakes that were this delicious beet cake, essentially. It's like, oh my gosh, universe totally worked out for me. And for my ceremony, I wanted flowers, but I wasn't able to stop and get some. But one of my friends brought me these flowers, and some of them got burned by the fire because I put it right next to the fire. So I had flowers for my ceremony, and that was just on my birthday. There's so many more. Um, I got a little off track there. So basically, the big lesson is set your goals, set them really big, right? Like, you can see I had a list of all of these different things. And then within those, there was obviously priority. And I did get the ones that I wanted. The majority, like, I only missed 6 days of channeling through in the 30-day period of time. But what if I hadn't had those goals? Would I have done them? Um, it's just really interesting to track and measure your progress, and noticing the parts of you that show up that are like, you're a failure, you're not doing it perfect, you might as well quit now. And you're like, but look at all these checked boxes that I have. Like, sure, it's not perfect, but look at the progress that is in play here, and that I can make up the rules for myself. Sure, there was a structure. There was a guideline of the 6 10s, and then, your sacrifice. But even those were guidelines. This one person was like, yeah, I'm not ready to sacrifice anything. Guideline. She totally took her permission to do it her own way. And I was just like, wow. And I finished. I finished it, even though I wanted to disappear. I didn't track while I was in that mode. So there's definitely some progress that can be made there. But I did, when I was feeling better today, I was like, okay, let's go finish that thing, because it's in the back of my mind. It's in my heart. It's floating around like, I didn't finish. I didn't finish. And I'm not a failure. I'm not a failure. I can finish. I can do this, and doing it. So I will probably be doing some more challenges coming up, offering to anybody that would like to join me. So if this is something that sings to you, being part of a community where you share goals and hopes and dreams and want to increase your habits and step into who you know you can be. I mean, this is a lot of what we do in SIS, Sacred Intuition Society. Today I just did the manifesting meditation every Monday. Let's come together. What are you manifesting? Let's support each other. Let's send energy to all of our goals and to one another to lift us up and help each other grow. We have an energy share where we come together and we share different energy healing techniques. And you either come to give or you come to receive. Like, hey, like last week, it would have been really nice to have one of those available for me. I could have set that up. But just like, hey, will you guys work on me? And then this is what I'm doing, and tell me, and then we teach each other, this is what I did. This is why I did it. How did you experience it? And then we learn from each other all these different tools and techniques. So that's some fun stuff that already exists in SIS, and we have more coming. We are in pre-launch still, so it is only $27 a month right now, and that will be going up this year. But if you get in at 27, you get 27 for the lifetime of your membership. So yeah, the the lesson, I guess, if I could sum it up, is dream big, have a lot of plans. This is what I do anyway. Dream big. I had a lot of goals, and then start going. And the first week is always like momentum and excitement and the new. And so it's exciting. The second week, you start to lose a little bit of momentum and fizzle, and you start to be like, ah, but the old ways are so much easier and more comfortable. But I can still do this. There's still that excitement energy. The third week is like, you really got to dig in and do the work, because the old habits are really screaming at you now, like, what the heck are you still doing here? Why are you still doing this new thing? Remember, we do it this way, not that way. This way is easy. That's not easy. And it's not that it's not easy, it's just different. So it just takes a moment to rewire the neural networks. And then the fourth week for me was trying to be nice with myself. The fourth week, I fell off. I really did. But I came back. I came back because that's not true either. I didn't really fall off. I did the bare minimum. Oh, and this is something that I learned from Tiffany Peterson. She calls it MTO, minimum, target, and optimum. MTO. So whenever you're setting up a goal, setting up a minimum goal. So like if I only do the AM sun and walk, the meditate, write, and channel, like I'm winning. I'm winning. Optimum or target would be to do the physical therapy and the 10-minute pickup. And that would be super awesome. Optimum would also be making my own food and not Netflixing and checking out. So that would be optimum. Ooh, okay. So I kind of did that on my own in there. Started out doing the optimum. There's so many checks marked in the first week. Second week, I was target to optimum, and then the third week, I was like target it. And then the fourth week, I was minimum. It was like doing the bare minimum. But guess what? That is better than zero. Had I not started this challenge, I don't know that I would have done half of those things, even in the minimum, because of I was in challenge, I was in crisis. But because I had the goals set and I had been doing them and tracking them, and I got this track record, there's power behind that. There's power behind tracking. I don't remember who says what you measure grows. And this is why tracking your weight does not work. Tracking your money does, though. That's really good. Tracking your money, unless you want to gain weight, then there's that. But what you measure grows. And it was really powerful to watch myself go through this process. I'm excited to do this again and track a little more with my menstrual cycle as well, to see how the menstrual cycles affect the different energies of the process. So, yeah, there it is. How I've been working on habit change slowly and in a very relaxed way. Because remember, relax is my word for the year. So I almost wasn't going to do the 30-day reset because I was like, yeah, no, I'm usually an all or nothing person. And then I was like, okay, I can do this my way. I really can do this my way. I can do it in a relaxed way. I can combine some of these pieces with other things I'm already doing, which I did, and kind of felt like a cheat, which was interesting because is it? Who says? Right? So I got to work with some of those thoughts and beliefs and realized, no, I'm doing the damn thing. It doesn't matter if I'm doing it for this and this. Why can't they be combined? You make up the rules. It's your life. Yep. Okay. Love you. Bye.